Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. This is the Age of Sigmar Stat Center, and I haven't been live for a couple of weeks, or I haven't made a Stat Center video for a couple of weeks because I have had a pretty major illness and been really bedridden. So I apologize if you've missed out on your meta stats and all of the other information that I normally bring you. We have a big, exciting week, and you know, if you're going to get sick over that kind of time period where a battle scroll has happened and you don't know if it's new events or old events or other stuff. So thankfully now it's all new events. But before I get into the new events, I would like to shout out the Age of Sigmar Six Nations event that did just happen. Because it's an international team event, they obviously had to get list submissions in before the battle scroll cutoff date, which occurred this weekend, or occurred a couple of weeks ago. So they obviously ran with the old points and all the old rules. So we won't be looking over it, but big congratulations to Team England, who won the event, which is cool. Team Scotland also for getting best sports, and also a special congratulations to Team Wales for featuring one of my favourite players in the world, Natty, who's only 13, playing an international level, which is pretty amazing, and kicking people's ass. In other big news, in other exciting news, very soon we are going to be having our stats updated. Warhammer Rob, who does all of the actual stats, will bring you a lot of information. And I know some of the information I'm super excited about are things like percentage of battle plans that are picked for events, so you can know which ones to play or not play, because I think that is pretty informative. And we might even get win rates on battle plans depending on the situation. But Rob's brilliant, so we'll be able to bring you some honest Wargamer stats. We don't put out stats as often as we used to. Instead, we use them as kind of like a roundup process. I think this is a more healthy approach to how we do it, and I'm excited about it. Okay, we're going to look at a bunch of events now. 276 players this week across 4 different countries. Obviously, we do have that big team event as well, and there's a couple of other team events that happen this weekend. So we're going to dive straight in and look at our first event. Our first event had 82 players happening in the UK. It is a yearly event that happens in the UK called War in the Heartlands. This is Act 4. The USP of this event is they do the intro for the different rounds or the battle plans from famous people off Cameo, which is pretty cool and very fun. Anyway, 82 players over 5 rounds, unlike the UK. We're very comfortable with, unlike the US, sorry, which is very comfortable with several people sharing the 5-0 or undefeated slot. So we've got 3 people in the undefeated slot. Got Phil Marshall with his Lumina Throne Lords, Dan Bradshaw with Stormcast Eternals, and Ross Brace with their Ideneth Deepkin. So if we just take a look at Phil's list, you can see he's running the Hurricane Temple. His manifestation law is the manifestations of Heesh versus the Morbi Kunj. Then he has Severith, 2 Wind Spirits, a Venari Law Regent, and 2 units of 10 Dawn Riders. It's a pretty interesting list compared to what we've seen from other LRL lists or meta lists before the Battle Scroll update, where we saw a lot of Sentinels. Maybe we've seen those Sentinels move away and going for these big hammer units, while in the Dawn Riders, while the Spirits of the Wind can still go grab and cap objectives. And Phil, being a England international team level player, feels like, and he's in the chat right now. Hello, Phil. Congrats. Feels like this is a list that plays well against LRL. Which is cool. Dan Bradshaw's list was running Stormcast Eternals. This would have been with the old Stormcast Eternals book, not the new book, because points aren't out for the new book yet, using Vanguard Wing. He has Karazai, a unit of Praetors, giving Karazai that 5-up ward save. Unit of Stormdrake Guard, who I don't overly rate, so that's pretty impressive. And then 2 units of Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows. One of the interesting things about the Stormdrake Guard is they have they have that 2-inch coherency, massive bases as well. So maybe Dan was just using Karazai and Praetors, Karazai with the Praetors and the Stormdrake Guard to pin units, out and back, so that then the Vanguard Raptors can just shoot. That's a lot of Vanguard Raptors with long strike crossbows. That's 12 in the list. It's just absolutely raw power, which is interesting. So yeah, very cool. And then apparently our spare player went undefeated, which is an absolute oops. Although I don't know why a spare player just isn't a normal player anyway. But he was running Ideneth Deepkin, Law of the Deep, and his manifestation law was the Morbi Kunj. His general's regiment was Ishran Soulscryer, Namati Reavers times 20, another unit of 10 Namati Reavers, another unit of 10 Namati Reavers, then Eilon of Mathlan, a unit of Ishling Guard minimum, a big unit of Leviathan, and then a reinforced unit of Morsar Guard. Now, I know Deepkin aren't considered to be doing too well at the moment. which I think is quite interesting. I think it's because their tempo is predicated on how their army plays versus like, you know, being able to pick your tempo for the other armies. In addition, I think one of the things that's interesting about this army is there's very little to no recursion, but there's lots of shooting in this list, there's lots of speed, there's lots of output, and you do have some very survivable units like the Leviathan, so pretty solid. Anyway, 3 great players, 3 different armies, although we suspect LRL to feature heavily in the stats show for the next 3 months. Stormcast up there as well, gives a lot of hope to Stormcast players who don't love their new book, and then Deepkin players, so it's all to play for at the top of the tables, which is pretty cool. Let's jump in and look at the 4-1s. Right, now we're going to look at the 4-1s, so the almost wins. So first up, we've got Max Barton with his Ossiarch Bone Reapers, Mortars and Council. He's running the Horrors of the Necropolis instead of the Morbi Conj as a manifestation law, which I really rate. Catacross, a unit of a Mortis Guard, 2 lots of 10 Death Riders, a unit of 5 Death Riders, Soul Mason, and a unit of a Mortis Guard. So don't forget they're going to be adding to their ward save, making them super tanky as well, the Immortis Guard. So making Catacross good and Death Riders just throw out there. So that's very cool. That's a very cool list. Very solid. You know, that would probably be my... Something similar to this would be my would you like to start playing Age of Sigmar army list. That's absolutely solid. Very cool. Gear Videld, superstar, one of our favorite people in the world. Honest Wargamer fans, get behind Gear. He's Norwegian, run of a 2D6 club, just a great human being. He is running Morbid Conjuration, again, Bone Reapers, but this time it's a Kavalos Lance. He's running a Gash, Immortis Guard, Death Riders, times 10, 2 lots of 10, and a unit of 5. Don't forget that Nagash is going to be able to bring a whole unit back from the dead. So I guess both lists are probably playing a similar style of play, but they're doing it in different ways. And I think you've got quite a lot of variety playing against those 2 armies, although it is going to be just Death Riders running straight at your face. Joe Jackson, great human being from around my neck of the woods. He is running Lumineth Realm Lords with the Hurricane Temple with Morbid Conjuration, Severith, Hurricane Spirit of the Wind, and a unit of Hurricane Wind Chargers, and then Techless, a unit of 20 Sentinels, a Banner Blade in this list as well. So don't forget, this is all new points. This is all new army. Unsurprised to see this do incredibly well. Techless obviously not seen as really popular, but was doing good before the balance update. I still think it's really solid now. Got everything you need in here. Wind Spirits for grab objectives, Wind Chargers for shoot and move, Sentinels for shoot. Solid list. Nutvideld, Nut. Oh, Knut. I don't know how I'm saying that wrong. I know I'm saying that wrong. Nut is running... He's running the Kavalos Lance. He's running the Horrors of the Necropolis. Again, a Bone Reaper list. Catacross, Immortis Guard, Death Riders, and 5 Death Riders, and then Mortars and Soul Mason. I just feel like those Death Riders might be getting a points update sometime soon, but they're really solid. Great armor save thanks to Catacross. You know, just super defensive, do some solid damage, pin you in really well. Really great. Then Tom Patton, again, local to me, great dude. Yeah, he is. He was running Warp Hands, and he was running Cruel Boys with a Light Finger battle formation. Manifestation was the Morbi Conj. Killer Boss on Rip Vulture was a General's Regiment with a unit of Manskewer Bolt Boys, reinforced. A Snatcher Boss on Souldraker Beast, 20 Gut Rippers, 3 Monster Killers, and 6 more Bolt Boys. And then a Swampcaller Shaman with Cruel Boys Monster Killers times 3. So 3 lots of Cruel Boys Monster Killers. So, you know, not quite the spam that we've seen there. I still think 3 units is absolutely cool. The Bolt Boys, really effective at just throwing some damage downrange. Gut Rippers, great for holding the line and for doing some fighting themselves. And the Killer Boss is super fast for grabbing objectives. So great, and it's good to see Cruel Boys up there as well. Ash Coleman with the new Skavens. This will be Skaven. Straight out of the box. So the new book, running Morbid Conjuration as the manifestation, and Warp Cog Convocation as their battle formation. Greyseer, reinforced unit of Clan Rats, a reinforced unit of Gatling guns. That's a lot of shots. Greyseer, another reinforced unit of clan rats. So it's going to be 80 clan rats on the board there. If they get killed, they're going to be coming back as 20s. Another reinforced unit of Gatling guns, and then a unit of Storm Fiends, which is absolutely brutal. That's such a good list. You've got 2 units that can move into the mid-board, grab objectives. I think the one issue might be here is doing battle tactics. That feels like that's going to be hard to achieve. Storm Fiends obviously can go womp up the middle of the board, do a bunch of stuff, and then everything is just doing this constant damage at range from the clan rats, and sorry, not clan rats, from the rattling guns. Don't forget you're shooting in your opponent's turn as well, so you're just constantly dumping shots on your opponent. It's going to be pretty savage. Mark Padden was running a Slaves to Darkness list with a God's Wrath Warband. So this is Slaves to Darkness, yeah. His General's Regiment was Be'lakor, a reinforced unit of Chosen, a unit of Chaos Legionnaires, then a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, a unit of Chaos Knights, a unit reinforced unit of Chaos Warriors, and then a Mind Stealer's Phalanx. So a little bit different to what we've seen previously, where it would have been all Varangard. I think Mark's idea here was to do something fun and interesting anyway. Phalanx obviously helping with all of the activation. And then the Chaos Warrior is really solid at just holding the line. Be'lakor, best war scroll in the game. Chosen, obviously, super good. Fight twice. Let's go. Russell Taylor was running Seraphon with Eternal Starhost being his battle formation. His manifestation law was the Morbi Kunj. He had a Slan, a Bastillodon with Solar Engine, a reinforced unit of Kroxigor, a reinforced unit of Kroxigor Warp Spawned, unit of Saurus Guard, then a Skink Starseer, and then 2 units of Raptidon Chargers. Pretty interesting that we still haven't seen the Hunters of Hornchi make it to the top tables. I'm pretty surprised by that. Raptidon Chargers are more effective Agrodons, which is a little bit upsetting. And I think the battle has been won for Seraphon players between Kroxigor or Raptidons, but they're still arguing about it. Yeah, the Starstone Bowler's not in there, but congratulations to Russell. John Keeley, love John. John's great. Was running Stormcast Eternals with a Vanguard Wing, Battle Formation. Kronspine Incarnate was Manifestation Law. His General's Regiment was Ynastra. 2 reinforced units of Prosecutors. 2 unreinforced unit prosecutors, sorry. A reinforced unit of Vanguard Raptors with long-strike crossbows. Then Neve. Oh my God, I love this list. This is my list. Neve's Companions, and then Night Judicator with Gryph-hounds. That's wild. I hate that unit. I think it's terrible. Then 2 units of Vigilers, and then the Saviors of Cinderfall. Whoa, this is so good. This is a great list. It absolutely fucking ruins I apologize for swearing. Anything that's a priest or a wizard or a hero or a monster. Ynastra fights monsters and wrecks them. Neve fights heroes and wrecks them. Saviors of Cinderfall kill heroes and priests and wizards really, really well. And then the Vigilers is just doing some additional damage. I would say that feels like movement's the issue, but I guess it's the minimum units of Prosecutors who are doing the battle tactics here. By the way, if you want a amazing list to play for Age of Sigmar 4, this would be something. I wouldn't take the Night Judicator, I think is Garbo, but obviously John made it work. But I would say that Ynastra, Prosecutors, Neve, and the Saviors is just an 11 out of 10 list. And then Sam Barker is running Nighthaunt with Deathstalkers. First time we've had to talk about it today, which is cool. Sam was running the Deathstalkers battle formation with the Morbid Conjuration, Ararat the Drowner, 2 reinforced units of Bladegeist Revenants, a unit of Grimghast Reapers, and reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, then Regnor the Grimhailer, 2 Dreadblade Harrows, and Lord Executioner. So very much the meta list that we saw previously, but several nerfs there. Instead of having the entire army run in charge, only 1 unit can. Instead of being able to teleport with the Dreadblade Harrows in each player's turn, it's only doable in your turn. And some points adjustments as well. The real question is was that enough? Obviously only hit a 4-1. Could Sam have hit the 5-0 previously? It's a great question. Don't know. And lastly, another Seraphon in that top pile there. We have Paul Bowden, great dude, is running Morbid Conjuration in the Sunclaw Starhost, running a Slan, a reinforced unit of Agrodon Lancers, a small unit of Kroxigor, a Bastillodon with the Arc of Sotek, a Saurus Guard, Skink Starseer, Hunters with Dart Pipes, and Hunters with Starstone Bowlers in this list as well. And then he was running the Saviors of Cinderfall. Again, super popular regiment of renown. I'm surprised they're not in lots of people's lists, but, some people don't want to get them, which is super okay. Those Hunters are super great for doing battle tactics, which is how you win the game. That's how you score points. And then the Lancers are just good, fast, and Slan brings everyone back from the dead, so it's solid. Something I'm going to add into these events, actually, is just a quick recap at this point. I'm just going to recap now. I'm just going to say that, obviously, if we look at the top 3 armies, are all different. And if we look at the armies underneath them in the 4-1 section, it's a very diverse field coming out of that event. Very, very diverse. And I think that's the thing that we should be talking about. A very, very diverse mixture of armies. Yes, the armies that we expected to do well are doing well, with Deepkin being a surprise, but super diverse. The lists themselves, Bone Reapers looked a little bit similar. Deathstalkers maybe need, Death Riders probably need looking at a little bit, but it's great seeing Seraphon in there as well. That's cool. Great seeing Cruel Boys in there. Nice seeing a slightly different Slaves to Darkness list. That's fun. So some real differentials there. Let's go look at the next event. Our next event takes us to Meta Games Unlimited in Springfield, Missouri. And this has got 46 players playing at this event. This is Vault Wars is the name of the event. It's called Vault Wars, being held at Meta Games. 46 players playing at this event. The event was organized by Travis Boyson. Shout out to Travis. And a really cool thing about this event is that they ran a Highlander, or a style of Highlander Warhammer as well, where it was not enforced, it was encouraged. And then if someone won whoever did best with a Highlander list also got a really super cool award. I think it was Laron that ended up winning that, so shout out to Laron. Quick point on what Highlander is, and I will be making another video about this. There's different formats for how it works, but effectively it's to limit how many iterations of a war scroll that you see. So in a Highlander that I would run, or I'm going to run later in the year, it's going to be, you cannot have the same war scroll more than once. And this creates a more diverse kind of like list building process, and you get slightly more interesting armies playing against each other, units that you normally wouldn't see because those units are super effective. So that's Highlander. Obviously, this was not enforced at the event. It was just encouraged at the event. Okay, cool. So if we go and look at the actual results, we can see our only 5-0 is Zachary Shin with Skaven. This Skaven list was using the Warp Cog Convocation with the Manifestation Law Forbidden Power. General's Regiment was Thankful on Bone Ripper with a unit of Rattling Guns, a Forming Lord Deceiver, a small unit of Clan Rats, a unit of Night Runners, an Arch Warlock, a small unit of Clan Rats, and another unit of Rattling Guns. So that's our second Skaven list we've seen doing really well, and it featured a lot of Rattling Guns. Let's look at the 4-1, shall we? And again, a nice diverse roster. Alex Cotter was running around with a Gloomspite Gitz Trogherd army using the Manifestation Law Cronspine Incarnate. Scragrot the Loon King bringing up that 2-cast magical power. Rock Guts being super survivable thanks to the +1 save from the moon and their inbuilt ward save. Trug giving out the support synergy from his Bonk Stonks. And then the Dankhold Trog boss with the +1 attack aura. And then a Dankhold Trogoth and a unit of Rock Guts. Next up, we got Eli Sweet, who was running Beasts of Chaos with the almighty Beast Herd. He was running the Bestial Manifestation, so he's going all the way in. Don't forget, Beasts of Chaos are currently legal for the next year, or probably actually now for the next 10 months. And then they're going to be out of the game. They have got General's Regiment, Beast Lord, a reinforced unit of Bestigor, a unit of Dragon Ogres, a unit of Dragon Ogres, a smaller unit of Dragon Ogres, unit of Ungor, Great Brave Shaman, and then Centaurs and reinforced unit of Centaurs. Centaurs actually got a massive upgrade in the latest Battle Scroll / FAQ update because they got given melee weapons back because they were accidentally left off their War Scroll at the time that they put the indexes up. And my God, did they absolutely, for probably some of the fuggliest models in Age of Sigmar, they kick ass. Madigan, huge Madigan stan. Super happy to report that she did escape being near Salem, where she was recently. Madigan was running a Ossiarch Bone Reapers army with the Mortars in Council, battle formation, running Horrors of the Necropolis. General's Regiment is Catacross, 2 reinforced units, a reinforced unit of Death Riders, a smaller unit of Death Riders, a reinforced unit of Morghast Archai, and then a Mortek Crawler and a Mortisan Soul Mason. So nice diverse roster there. The Archai being very interesting with Catacross, not normally seen. A Mortek Crawler, very much not normally seen, but has been seen a lot out of lists coming out of Europe, specifically people running the Ballistari rules. LaRon Roberts, our winner of the Highlander, was running Stormcast Eternals with a Vanguard wing. He had Karazai, a unit of Praetors, a unit of Vanguard Paladors with shock hand axes, only a small unit of 3, but they're so good. Krondis, a Knight Vexilla, and a unit of Prosecutors, and then Neve Black Talon with Lorai and the Champs. Again, this would have been old book, but that's a great list. Super cool. Absolutely love that. Well done to LaRon. Tyler Emerson was running a Stormcast Eternals list as well. His own regiment was Karazai with a Knight Vexilla, and then 10 Vanquishers, 6 Soulsworn, and 3 Praetors. So this could have been new book, actually, if the Soulsworn are in there. Celestin Prime, 5 Vigilers, 3 Long Strikes, and 3 Prosecutors. It doesn't say Thunderhead Host is his battle formation there as well. And I'm sure Tyler will talk about this more in the future. Daniel Pitt is running Blades of Khorne. So Khorne up here, which is big deal. He had the Manifestation or the Judgments of Khorne, obviously. Slaughter Priest and a reinforced unit of Skull Reapers made up the General's Regiment. Skull Reapers, absolutely excellent in melee combat, but a little bit more fragile thanks to their lower armor save. Then a Bloodthirster of Incensed Rage. I feel like you almost have to always include a Bloodthirster because on the Blood Rights table, being able to get a Bloodthirster back later is so good. With Argath, the King of Blades, for shutting out ward saves. 2 units of Fleshhounds, a Skull Taker, and then Scar Blood Wrath, and 2 units of Blood Warriors. So 2 units for holding objectives, 2 units for being fast and doing battle tactics, and some big hitters in the Skull Reapers and the Bloodthirster. I would like to say that I think Khorne have got a little bit more juice in them, but they're going to take a lot more like reinventing of the wheel. Those Blood Warriors are probably going to be new additions in loads of lists. Then you've got Jared Noley running, again, Bone Reapers. He is running the Horrors and Necropolis as the Manifestation Law and the Mortars and Council as his battle formation. His General Regiment is Catcross, reinforced unit of Death Riders, a small unit of Archai, Vork Martian, a Crawler, a Mortars and Soul Mason, and then another smaller unit of Harbingers. So this is pretty interesting, like a very diverse list. But don't forget, this is an event that was encouraging you to take different units because of the Highlander format, and therefore you're seeing slightly different and more interesting lists. Lastly, the Sentinels of the Black Citadel. Joe Carnite is running his Stormcast Eternals list with the Sentinels of the Black Citadels. He had Krondis, a unit of Praetors, a unit of Reinforced Reclusians, a reinforced unit of Vanguard Raptors Longstrike Crossbows, a Knight Arcanum, unit of Vanquishers, and then Neve Black Talon, Lorai, and Neve's Companions in the last regiment. An absolutely excellent list there. Again, all different, makes the list a little bit more interesting and really fun. And I guess that will be my recap from this event. I like the idea of Highlander. I'm going to be making another video about this in the future. I personally think competitive Age of Sigmar should be Highlander enforced. Let me know in the comments below what you think about that if you got this far into the video, because I know some people are going to disagree. I will make a much longer video about this as it goes, because I think that will end up making people more engaged with the hobby rather than less. Let's go look at the next event. Our next event is still based in the USA. This is Frontline Gaming's AOS SoCal Open Champs event. This event had 37 players playing at this event. It's organized by the fantastic Scott Reed. A shout out Scott, super lovely fella. Organized by him and took place at this like large, I think like theater sort of like California style looking thing. I don't really know. Anyway, if we go and look at our 5-0s, we've only got one 5-0 with Greg Brewer. Greg Brewer was running Gloomspike Gits, Squigalanch battle formation, and his Manifestation Law was Morbid Conjuration. And then his general regiment was Squig Boss, Godpalooza, Squig Herd, Squig Hopper, Squig Hoppers, Dankhold Trog Boss, and then 3 units of reinforced Rockgut Troggoths. So 18 Rockguts, Dankhold, Squigs. They're survivable and they punch. That's what they do. Congratulations to Greg. Now we're going to look at the 4-1s. Kyle Callip, super dude, cool dude, is running Stormcast Eternals, the Sentinels of the Black Citadels, with his Manifestation Law being the Twilight Sorceries. His general is Lord Commander Bastian Carthalos, who I really like. 2 units of Griffhounds, a unit of Judicators with Boltstorm Crossbows, which is very surprising. And a unit of Vanguard Raptors with Longstrike Crossbows. That's fun. Judicators. And then his other regiment is Lord Relictor, and then 2 units of reinforced Prosecutors, and a reinforced unit of Vanquishers. Very cool. Prosecutors can shoot and fight. They're an incredible hybrid unit. Vanquishers also great in a support role for +1 to hit. Is that Vanquishers? I think that's Vanquishers. Maybe it's not. And then Long Strike shoot. everyone shoots. Lord Commanding Bastion Karthlos makes 3 units move up the infantry units move up the game at the start, move up the board at the start, and those prosecutors obviously can move really far. So well done to him. Alexander Gonzalez, part of the PNW, the Pacific Northwest team, the current best Age of Sigmar team in the USA. Just shouting that out. Pacific Northwest is the toughest meta. Is running Nighthaunt with Deathstalkers. His manifestation law is the Morbid Conjuration. His general is Outright the Drowner, a reinforced unit of Bladegeist, a reinforced unit of Grimgas, a reinforced unit of Hexwraiths, and then Reikenor, a reinforced unit of Bladegeist Revenants, and a Khan Wraith, and a small unit of Hexwraiths. Then Bill Curry, and also Alex is a great dude. He's a long-time AOS dude, great guy. Bill Curry's running Fire Slayers with Magmic, Fire Slayers with a Warrior Kimbad battle formation. His general regiment was a Rune Smiter, a unit of Hearthguard, a Rune Smiter, a unit of Hearthguard. Both these 2 units are reinforced. Another Rune Smiter, a unit of Hearthguard, this time with Flamestrike poleaxes that's been reinforced. And then a unit of Volkites, a Grimcold Exile, a unit of Hearthguard with poleaxes, and then 2 smaller units of Volkites. So I actually think that the Fire Slayers list is really fun. Our army is really fun. Like, yes, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's an army you really have to put on the tabletop and really understand and work and play with. It does have some limitations, but I think it's very, very effective. The fact that it's invocations and also most of its support pieces are via prayers, which your opponent can't deal with, means you've got a lot of strength in this list, which is very cool. Scott Adams was running Slaves to Darkness list in the God's Wrath Warband, and his manifestation law was the Primal Energy. His general's regiment was Be'lakor, 2 units of Furies, a reinforced unit of Chaos Warriors. Second time we've seen that with the Mark of Nurgle. That's fun for grabbing objectives, just being absolutely rock solid, 40 health on a 3-up save, -1 to wound. They're never moving. A Demon Prince with the Conqueror's Crown, and then 2 units of Varangard. Both units have got the Mark of Khorne. So very cool to see that there. Scott Adams, was Scott Adams, sorry. And then last, Doug Jankowski, sorry, just make sure I said that right, with the Hurricane Temple, running the Morbid Conjuration, obviously for Luminath Realm Lords, Eleanor and Elethor, a Wind Spirit, a reinforced unit of Wind Chargers, a reinforced unit of Sentinels, a small unit of Dawn Riders, a Caligrave, and a unit of River Blades. And then the Saviors of Cinderfall made it again into the list. I love that. Sarah Livingston was using Stormcast Eternals, and she was running the Vanguard Chamber. Her manifestation law was Primal Energy. General's regiment was Karazai, Praetors, Vanguard Raptors, Longstrike Crossbows, and Vindicators, and then Krondis, Knight Vexilla, and then 2 units of Vigilers. That is the 3rd or 4th time now that we've heard of the big dragons being in the list. It's the second double big dragon list that's happened as well. Actually, my thoughts from this event is that, we're getting on a roll with Stormcast now, constantly seeing Stormcast, at least in the 4-1 section. Constantly, there's big dragons doing really good, being really effective as well, which is cool. Still Nighthaunt in there, LRL still in there as well. We've seen them mix up the lists between some of the different armies. The way that Slaves to Darkness is playing and stuff has the battle scroll had a big enough impact that we're not just seeing Varangard and Be'lakor. You let me know. Big units of warriors, or maybe this is just a little bit of a change this week. We'll have to see. Our next event takes us to Beaver Country, where we are at Grudgefest GT 2024 in Canada. This is in the great state of Alberta, with 32 players battling out at Grudgefest 2024. This was organized by Kyle Zumchik. Sorry, Kyle, if I said that wrong. So shout out to Kyle for being the TO and a super badass. In the placings, we see that Dom Elson was able to take Slaves to Darkness to the only 5-0, the only undefeated. Dom's list, running Slaves to Darkness, is called Totally Unique, Never Seen list that will definitely blow your mind. So I'm excited. And then Dom, winning the event, was running God's Wrath Warband as the battle formation. His manifestation law was Primal Energy. He had Be'lakor, a reinforced unit of Chosen, a unit of Chaos Furies, a reinforced unit of Varangard with the Mark of Khorne, and then a unit of Chaos Knights with the Mark of Nurgle. So a little bit different to what we've seen previously because of the Chaos Knights. Maybe that's to do with the new points and not being able to fit in other units. Obviously, the Fury is great for doing battle tactics, but all of those other units still very solid. And now you're seeing more and more armies in the 1-drop slot, as was predicted. because now you don't have as many units in your general's regiment being hit by the enemy honor guard ability. So well done to Dom. Looking at the 4-1s, we've got a nice diverse list of armies again. Ryle Pitchlick was running Idneth Deepkin. That is our second Idneth Deepkin list in this roster. Keep track. I am, so is Pershore. Running Achillean Beastmasters as the battle formation. 4 drops. We've also got the Kronspine Incarnate in there as well. Eidolon of Mathlan, Aspect of the Storm, was the general with an Achillean Leviathan in the roster. Then the next regiment was an Eidolon of Mathlan, Aspect of the Sea, with an Achillean Ishling Guard. And then a Tidecaster and a unit of Thralls in this as well. I don't know why there's a regiment 3 in here, so it should have only been a 3 drop. That's weird. Oh, that's what it is. The other regiment is the Black Talons. Black Talons featuring again. Please go watch my Black Talons videos. Worth remembering how good they are. So Black Talons in the list as well. Great. 320 points. Don't change their points, please, Games Workshop. They're really cool. We love having them in there. Cole Windsor was running Disciples of Tzeentch with a Weird Flame Host. His manifestation law was the Morbi Conjuration. His general's regiment was Kairos, a unit of Horrors, another unit of Horrors, and a unit of Skyfires, and then a Lord of Change, Chaos Spawn, unit of Screamers, and the Changeling. Okay. So this is cool. It's nice seeing Tzeentch in here. First time we've read it out this week. You got the Infinite Horrors, Kairos for the tactic, Skyfire still super fast and super effective, Lord Change for bringing models back from the dead, Chaos Spawn for the spell lore, Screamers for, again, tactics, and Changeling also maybe for a tactic, which is interesting as well in the list. So that's cool for Cole. Michael Nonomura was running Maggotkin and Nurgle with the Affliction Sys, so now we're seeing Nurgle in here as well. His general regiment was a Great Unclean One, a unit of Plague Drones, a unit of Blight Kings, and the Sloppity Bilepiper. Then he had Spoilspot Scrivener, a unit of Plague Drones, and 2 reinforced unit of Plague Bearers. It's a really solid and tough front line in those Plague Bearers, especially knowing that if you do finally kill them, they're going to come back from the dead from the Great Unclean One. The Plague Drones are super quick for grabbing objectives and doing what they need there. Blight Kings are really great for hammering, as is the Great Unclean One for fighting, and Sloppity in the support. It's a great list. And I'm surprised I'm not seeing more Nurgle. Maybe they're just a little bit harder to play. They're not super fast. Quinn Hines was running Gloomspike Gitz in the Squigalanch. He had a Dankhold Trogboss, a reinforced unit of Rock Guts ×2. So 12 so far. Then Squig Boss and Asher Squig with 2 reinforced units of Squig Herd, and then a Fungo Cave Shaman with 2 reinforced units of Squig Herd. So deciding not to take quite as many of the Rock Guts and instead a lot more Squig Herd for punching through is very cool. Then Joe Thibodeau was running his Gloomspike Gitz with his Trog Herd. He had Scragrot, Gobpalooza, a unit of Moonclan Stabbers, a Snarfang Riders, and Squig Hoppers, all minimum units as well, which is interesting. Then a Dankhold Trog Boss, and then 18 Rock Guts as well. Lots of little units for doing tactics, Gobpalooza for support, Scragrot is really solid, and then all the Rock Guts. And then Braden Rubleski was running Flesh Eater Courts from the Lords of the Manor. General's regiment was Ushran, a unit of reinforced Morbeg Knights, a smaller unit of Morbeg Knights, an Abhorrent Cardinal, a unit of Morbeg Knights, an Abhorrent Good King, and a big reinforced unit of Morbeg Knights. So finally, we're seeing these cavalry brought to the table as well, like we've seen from lots of other rosters. And then Ushran in that big support role, and obviously as a combat monster himself. Ushran probably needs a points reduction because he is very effective in his army, but he's almost quintessentially a must-take in the army. Therefore, you feel like you could benefit the army by reducing his points a little bit and making it so that other units could play as well. But Flesh Eater Court's doing really strong here, which is great. Just a quick recap from that event, but yeah, again, nice to see a bunch of different rosters or armies. Tzeentch, Nurgle, Flesh Eater Courts, Deepkin again. Like, I know it's really easy sometimes to get that big takeaway, LRL won the big event, but when you're playing if you're playing in Vancouver, or well, it wasn't Vancouver, wherever it was, sorry. If you're playing in Alberta, there's a real potential there that you can take your, quote unquote, not as good army to an event, get a 4-1, which feels brilliant, and have a great time. So congratulations to everyone at that event. Our next event takes us over to Sweden for an event in Malmö. I've definitely said that wrong. For the Mostly Holy Within a AOS singles event. We have got no 5-0s, but we do have a 4 wins and a draw by Dennis Bengston. He was running Iron Jaws from the Iron Jaws Brawl. His general's regiment was Kragnos, 2 reinforced units of Brutes, a Morgrunter Gouger, a Morgrunter with a hacking crew, and then lastly, a War Chanter in this as well. So obviously with the run and charge, those Morgrunter Gougers are going to be able to, Morgrunters are able to go pretty far, with Kragnos giving them a 3d6 charge. No, not run and charge, sorry. The 3d6 charge from Kragnos, not run and charge, apologies. And then the Brutes also with that 3d6 charge as well. So just raw output in here, which is pretty impressive. And also our first kind of like sliver of hope for Iron Jaws players all around the world. The Swedish meta is not a soft meta. It's an incredibly tough place to play Warhammer, with many very excellent Warhammer players playing. So I'm actually pretty surprised to see this up there. And Dennis, unsurprisingly, is brilliant at Warhammer. Well done to Dennis. But he's just gone all raw output. So 2 Brutes, 2 units of big Brutes, Kragnos in there as well. So it's very cool. Kragnos feels pretty mandatory in an Iron Jaws army, which is unfortunate. Then Skaven, we have Jonas, with his Skaven, with 1 loss and 4 wins. And he was running Warp Cog Convocation with the Manifestation Law being the Krunspine Incarnate. Then Golem Bone Ripper, 2 units of Clan Rats, but not reinforced. A unit of Rat Ogres, a unit of Rattling Guns, a Grey Seer, 2 units of Clan Rats, and then another reinforced unit of Rattling Guns. So while those Clan Rats are not in big blocks of 40 like we have seen, what they are is in, we still have 80 Clan Rats like we saw in the previous Skaven list, and we still have 2 units of reinforced Rattling Guns like we saw in the previous list as well. But those Clan Rats are spread over smaller units, therefore maybe making a benefit out of their War Scroll ability to bring D3 back every turn. So this is multiple D3s versus individual D3s, which is cool as well. Anyway, that's the results from the AOS event over there. I hope everyone had a great time. Shout out to everyone in Sweden. Our next event takes us again to Canada, this time French Canada, Quebec. Is where we're going for the Travelers Tithe Tournament, the TTT.
Down with CHUDs. Up with Spuds.
Thank you for donating £10 to the show. Jog rates for helping us fund our potato machine. There will be a link at the top of this if you'd like to help me fund a potato machine for the venue that I work at. Right, anyway, this event was organised by Alex Boucher, who definitely would love a potato machine. And his event had 20 players battling it out, and they battled it out here at this fantastic looking bistro, the Scanner Bistro in French Canada. It looks absolutely 11 out of 10, to be honest, but brilliant. Anyway, Justin Lapointe was able to win the event and go 5-0 with his Slaves to Darkness list. In his list, he was running the Manifestation or the Forbidden Power. He had Be'lakor, the Dark Master. This is all the Legion of Chaos battle formation. A unit of Reinforced Chaos Chosen with the Mark of Khorne, 2 units of Chaos Furies, a unit of Chaos Spawn, a Chaos Sorcerer Lord.
Potatoes are the solution to our problems.
A Chaos Sorcerer Lord and a reinforced unit of Varangard. Thank you to Spacker for the £10 donation. That's very kind of you. So yes, a reinforced unit of Varangard, a reinforced unit of Chosen and Be'lakor. New, unique, and fun. They're cooking up some cool stuff over in French Canada. Looking at the 4-1s, Jordi Leroux of the Burrito Penguins was running Luma Throne Lords. His battle formation was a Hurricane Wind Temple. His manifestation was a Crunchbane Incarnate. He had Severith, 2 Wind Spirits, a Caligrave, Eleanor and Elathor, a reinforced unit of Dawn Riders,
Potato
and then
hot tub stream.
the Saviors of Cinderfall. Sorry, I'm trying to record a YouTube video. The Twitch chat being insane. Thank you to Rattling Boy for doing £25. That's insane for the Potato hot tub stream. Okay, that's very kind. Anyway, massive congratulations to Jordi Leroux. Saviors of Cinderfall featuring again. That's very kind, Rattling Boy. So kind. And then lastly, Jean-Francois Normand with his Disciples of Zinch was running the battle formation, the Weird Flame Host with the 8th Wrought Machineries. He had Kairos, a reinforced unit of Horrors, a reinforced unit of Skyfires, Lord of Change, reinforced unit of Horrors, and then 2 more units of Pink Horrors. And this is a list I can fuck with. 2 units of pink horrors, amazing. Obviously, with the horrors, the brimstone, blues and brims, they're basically immortal. And then, or 2 units of blues and brims. Lord changes to bring them all back from the dead. Skyfires to do all the work you need. Absolutely a brilliant list. Very cool. I love that. That's cool. A quick recap of this event is small. You know, like there's a bunch of stuff happening. This is still really valid though. Little events are super valid. They're as valid as big events. These people are playing Warhammer. They're playing their hearts out. They had a good time. Shout out to everyone in Quebec. You play really great Warhammer, and I hope you're having fun. Our next event is going to be pretty controversial. The controversial thing about the Bay Area Molder Mash GT is not that it was held in the fantastic-looking Game Castle, by the way, which has got an amazing-looking fusion restaurant of Hawaiian barbecue food down the road. Instead, is that this event required no painting. As it said at the top, no painting required. And I'm sure this is an attempt by the organizer, Tarek Zaruf, to make it so that more people are attending events and playing. But I'm sure it's going to be controversial in the comments, so let me know what you think. Anyway, our event was won by Tad Batten of the Miscast with his Seraphon army. Tad was running the Sunclaw Star Host, and he had the Morbid Conjuration Manifestation. His general was the Slan Starmaster with a unit of Kroxigor, a unit of Saurus Guard, both of which were reinforced, and 2 units of Saurus Warriors. And lastly, he had the Skink Starseer, the Raptidon Hunters, and those 2 Hunters of Haunchy with Starstone Bowlers, and the Regiments of Renown, the Saviors of Cinderfall. I gotta say, they are popular. Maybe my YouTube video helped people learn to put more of them on the tabletop. I don't know. But Tad, shout out to Tad. That's fantastic and great. Our 2-4-1s was Matthew Hunt. He was running the Ossiarch Bone Reapers with a Mortek Ballistari battle formation. Talked about that earlier. He had Catacross, 2 units of Death Riders, and 2 Mortek Crawlers, and a Mortek Soul Mason. So riffing off the Death Riders being really good, but those Mortek Crawlers going in that battle formation is very cool with Catacross. And Thomas Reba with his Blades of Khorne Murder Host list with the Manifestation Lord Judgments of Khorne. He had a Bloodthirst from Unfettered Fury and a reinforced unit of Bloodletters. Then a Bloodthirst from Incense of Rage, Herald of Khorne on Bloodthrone, another unit of Bloodletters, a unit of Fleshhounds, and a Slaughter Priest. And that's cool to see for Khorne. The big blocks being backed up by a Bloodthirster feels like the right way to go. But you can be so fast with Bloodthirsters in this. I honestly think they're still good. I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to call it as being cool. Anyway, I think it's going to be a little bit of a controversial subject, not allowing painting, not needing painting to be required. But I think if you're building up a local community, it's new in the edition still. It's still really early in the edition. I should point that out. Really early in the edition. Like, letting people play with their toys, I think is really healthy. I think that's cool. If the community are cool with it, that's great. Really fun and interesting kind of takes to be doing that. Shout out to the people at this event. Our next event is taking us back to Canada for the Edmonton Wargaming Open AOS, being held at the Senior Citizens Recreation Centre, which I'm sure is a great venue, but it's a little close to home, having just had my birthday, so makes me feel a little upset. Anyway, the Edmonton Wargaming Open AOS was won by Darcy Flasker. Darcy was running a Soulblight Gravelords list with the Bacchanal of Blood being the battle formation, Morbid Conjuration being the manifestation law, and then Neferata, 2 reinforced units of Death Rattle Skeletons and a reinforced unit of Graveguard, and then Vordry with 2 units of Fellbats and 2 units of Direwolves. Those Fellbats are great for battle tactics. The Death Rattle Skeletons are great for objective control. The Graveguard and Vordry are amazing for kicking ass. So that's cool and is great to see. Our only 4-1 is Zexi Huang. They were running a Seraphon list with the battle formation, the Shadow Strike Star Host. And then his manifestation law was the Morbid Conjuration. His general was a Slan with a unit of Agrodon Lancers that had been reinforced. Hunters will haunt you with Dart Pipes, a unit of Hunters, and a reinforced unit of Saurus Guard. Then a Skink Starseer, 2 reinforced units of Raptidon Chargers, and a unit of Ripperdactyl Riders. Looks like a cool event. A little bit upset it was held at an old people's home. That makes me uncomfortable. Our last event takes us back to Sweden. It's like Sweden, Canada, Canada, Sweden. And our event with 14 players, the Dallas Stompen, with Ossiarchs Bone Reapers winning the event, thanks to Jesper Malenda with the 4 in the draw. He was running a Morton Council battle formation. His manifestation over the horrors of the necropolis. His general's regiment was Catacross and a unit of Immortis Guard. His regiment was a Morton Ossifector with a Morghast Archai and a Mortek Crawler, and the Archai was a reinforced unit. And then his last regiment was a Soul Mason on its own. So, that's our event in Sweden. And that's it for the Stat Center this week. But wait, no, that's a trick because I have a very special video. Last week, I was not here, unfortunately, because was I traveling last week? No, I was just sick last week. And instead, we have this incredible video from our chatter Gene, who was out at an event in Australia. And here you can see him talking with Nathan about Nathan's win at this event. Where, if we just take a moment to look, you can see on Stats and Ladders, this is where 24 players battled it out at the Bendigo's Big Bash Bush Bonanza, the BBBB. And Nathan Thompson was able to win with his Sigmar in what was a pretty tough field. And here we get an amazing video from Gene interviewing him right now.
Welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Gene. And this is Nathan Thompson, winner of the Bendigo Barbecue Bash GT. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Cities first, 4 in a draw.
Nice.
It's good.
Nice. And running cities for the first time because you've been off them for a while.
Had an event. Yeah. Started edition and sucked with them and cycled back. So
nice.
Good thing I did.
And what's the build like?
Yeah, it's good. Lots of bodies, lots of one-way models. Hits like a truck.
And are you running your steel helms, dwarves?
Bit of everything.
elves?
Humans, elves, dwarves, one of each. Lots of hammerers, executioners, some fusiliers to shoot. It's good stuff.
Sweet. Any hard counters, you think?
I think Lumineth Foxes would suck. Little 5-wound heroes, but fortunately I dodged that matchup. So
dodged them.
So
nice.
Nige got that, and with his Stormcast, he beat the Lumineth. So it's good stuff.
Awesome. Well, well done, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Jim.
Nathan Thompson,
Thanks,
big
Rob.
winner, boy! Welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Gene.
Let's go, big winner, boys. Let's go. And that's the thing you need to remember. If you're playing at events, if you're playing Age of Sigmar events, that the big USP about Age of Sigmar is the community. And you get to be a part of that community, obviously by watching this show and engaging with the Honest Wargamer community, because we're pretty sick. But, also by attending events, going and seeing people, hanging out, being part of an intimate national community is super cool and really fun. And is really kind of like, makes me feel part of something bigger and better. So, and what's nice is if you have your 20-person event, in Quebec, or, your 14-person event in Malmo, or wherever it might be in the world, those events are important. And they make up like this big cohesive like network of our experiences and our joys and our loves and our losses and everything else. And it's an important thing. Like, going and playing at events is really valuable. So you should go do that. You should go enjoy yourself. And I think I've given you some like sort of meta-analysis as we go through. Ossiarchs Bone Reapers have been, obviously very popular. And I think that's interesting. Saviors of Cinderfall also featured incredibly heavily, which has been cool to see. And I'm sure they're going to get a points adjustments, but I like Regiments of Renown. And I think I'm going to make a follow-up video about Regiments of Renown and how much I like them. So I'll do that in a bit. But thanks for watching the video. Thanks for checking out the Stat Show. There'll be more Stat Shows in the future. I hope you've enjoyed them. Tune in every Monday on Twitch if you'd like to come and hang out with me. And thanks very much for tuning in. See you soon. Bye.